Hi guys, welcome to the Emotional Intelligence channel. Thank you for coming today. This video is going to be about how to improve interpersonal communication. So let's begin with tip number one. Think about the purpose or the objective that you are trying to achieve through this communication interaction. In general, there are many possibilities, but we can summarize those possibilities in four topics. Number one, the purpose is to learn from the other person. And believe me, you can learn from anybody. Always there is something to learn. Number two, the purpose could be about strengthening, improving, developing the bonds between you and that person or group of persons. Number three, you may try to protect or defend or establish territory. This is really not a very good purpose, but from time to time people fall in this. Number four, you are competing with the other person. You are trying to establish that you are more influential or knowledgeable or powerful. This again is not a very good purpose of communication. So in our video today we are going to assume that your main purpose is a combination of the first two, trying to strengthen your bonds with the other person or trying to learn something from the other person. Now, what kind of interaction will allow or will be compatible with this purpose? Let's take some examples. Imagine that you are going for a job interview. Well, obviously in that case you want to create a good chemistry, a good rapport with the person conducting the interview. Or if you are the interviewer, also you want to create a good rapport, a good flow. Imagine that you are in a family conversation, a casual conversation on the dinner table. Also, it's about harmony, it's about good time, it's about sharing good moments. So, sharing bonds, learning from each other, even very basic things. What did you do today? How you feel today? What are you doing these days? This is learning. Don't have to be learning about rocket science, can be learning about anything. Tip number two. The tip number two is about what channels of communication are you using. Normally, when we communicate, we tend to think that the key and only channel is words and voice, what we are saying, but believe me, that is not true. For example, you have been looking at my hands and my movement here. That is part of the channels I am using to communicate with you. Imagine that I stay like this and also long face all the time. Obviously, you wouldn't put the same level of attention. So normally we communicate using about 13 different channels, and words is just one of them. So what are the other channels that you can use when you are communicating with people? Well, you can use your face expression, and obviously a friendly, nice face, don't have to be good looking, but should be friendly, it will help. Number two, what you do with your hands. So be careful how you use your fingers, but moving your hands, supporting the ideas, in general, doing these kind of movements is good. Doing this is bad. What about the tone of your voice, the pitch of your voice, the volume? That also is very important. My advice is play with the pitch and the volume of your voice. So put it up, down. So avoid monotony. Okay, so this was point number two, playing with the different channels of communication. Face expression, body posture, hand movement. Keep contact with your audience, eye connection. Okay, point number three, very important point. This is about listening. Now, but listening is not only through the ears. Listening is also through the brain and through the face, how it works. Okay, when you are listening, obviously you have to be most of the time with your mouth shut. You have to be indicating to the other person that you are putting attention. One way to do that is following that person. If the person is moving, keeping eye contact, avoid multitasking. So if you are listening to somebody else and then you get your mobile phone and start playing with it and looking somewhere else or getting a magazine and going through the pages, well, that's not really a nice way to listen, even though you are putting attention. So listening means focusing your mind in getting the messages from the other person. And I say messages. Messages means not only the words, get all what is coming from the different channels. Check if the voice, the words, and the intention are coherent. Because sometimes people is talking just for talking, and what they are saying and what they mean is not exactly the same thing. And the only way to catch that is put attention to all the channels. Okay, so this was the tip number 3, listening. Tip number 4, be considerate. Be nice. How can you be nice and considerate? Well, number 1, respect the points of view of the other people. Respect different opinions. There is no only one way to cook a chicken. So when you have the temptation of feeling, wow, I don't agree with this guy, this is really not true, or really I cannot accept that, think twice. So try to be open-minded, listen, and put yourself in the position of the other person. Try to be friendly, try to be nice, try to be considerate, be patient, and look for value in whatever the other person is saying. Sometimes it's not easy, but with practice we learn to be more tolerant and respect the other people. Give positive feedback. How you give positive feedback? Well, for example, from time to time say, I see, that's interesting, I know what you mean. So this indicates to the other person that you are following, that you are listening. Even if you don't agree, this is one way to maintain the different channels of communication flowing. Tip number 6. If you have the temptation of interrupting the other person, try to stop and wait for the right moment. So the point is, don't interrupt. Allow the other person to speak, to talk, to express his point of view, to finish the opinion before you jump with questions or potential disagreement. Now, the next point, point number 7, is if you disagree with the other person, be careful, think twice before expressing your disagreement. Why? Normally, we don't meet and have conversations to disagree. Remember at the beginning we said, what is the purpose of the communication? It's learning, sharing, strengthening the bonds between the other person and you. So if you disagree, well, very frequently that leads to confrontation. And I'm not trying to say that you never should disagree. That's not the point. The point is, well, what is the benefit in this occasion during this communication process of talking about our disagreements? Let me focus in learning why you think that. So if you are saying something that I don't agree with, okay, maybe I can ask you why you have that point of view. What made you believe that that is a sound approach to that subject or to that problem? Okay, so the point was, think twice before making clear that you don't agree with the other person, and if possible, try to avoid that. Point number 8, make questions. Why should you make questions? Well, several reasons. Reason number 1, maybe you have doubts, and a question will help to clarify your doubts. Reason number 2, questions will stimulate the interaction with the other person, will make the conversation more fluent. Point number 9, don't kidnap the time. Don't kidnap the attention of the other people all the time. Play a bit of democracy in the communication process. You know, some people have the tendency to talk and talk and talk, and the only ones that want to talk is them. And that makes the other people uncomfortable. Okay, guys, thank you for your attention. Hope you have a good day, and see you next time in the Emotional Intelligence channel. And please, if you like this video, share it with your friends and family and give a like. Bye bye. See you next time.